Hello everybody, my name is Oxen. Today I'm gonna give quite an important update and overall of a lot of things in my life, but mainly, if you read the title, I'll talk about what I can only describe really as, there's many things I could call it, but I think like what it really is awakening, and a very metaphysical breakdown of sense perception, uh, thoughts, and reality in general. This is 1 year ago now, which is crazy to me how quick time goes. So I'd had mental health stuff for as long as I was somewhat mature. For like early teens, I developed mental health, or at least I would portray it as that. When I was really young, in like secondary school, maybe year 9, um, so these are some of the first signs of mental health stuff, right? Or well, I would cut myself, but I won't go too deep into it. But like yeah, my parents, like my school told my parents, not all of my parents, some role of parents basically said, "Oh, don't worry, he's just attention seeking," um, which I was trying to get people to know about it in a way, but also there was like kind of a reason for that. It's not a normal behavior to like slyly like cut yourself like on purpose and then let people know about it for attention. Like, why would you do that? But that was what I was doing, kind of, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's just like, full of shit, he's just wanting to be special, whatever." Because I thought people think it's cool somehow, and I did. Like, mental health can be deemed cool for some reason when you're young, in a weird way. But anyway, time went on. I said I had depression and things as I was growing up to my parents. I was really struggling, but people just kind of wafted it away, because so I was cutting myself in the past, and then there was depression. I told my parents about it, like I'm really fucking struggling, and like it got to a point where I need to tell someone because every second was just fucked, and I'm not exaggerating. Like the mental health is really deep. When it does fuck up, it's like your whole thinking mechanism can become illogical, where you just perceive everything as a negative event or some shit like that, and it can be really tormenting and fucking um it's like fucking torture when you're like convinced that everything is much worse than it is, because it basically is as bad as you think it is, kind of, in a way. But there's many nuances to it. I'm just rolling a fucking blunt here, if you didn't realise. Which I'd been smoking, seemingly actually since the mental shit began. I don't know if I'm willing to give up like substances like cannabis or mushrooms. Like, I think they're going to be a part of my life forever because they're just like way too OP or overpowered. That means. But yeah. So sorry. So yeah, so everyone just kind of like, because if I'm just saying I'm depressed, I don't want to go to work. I say I'm depressed. I can cry in that. Yeah, like how much can you believe me if you're skeptical for some reason, as my parents were. How have I smoked that much weed already? Oh my god, I'm insane. Right. So there's room to be skeptical. If I'm trying to be depressed because it's cool, then there's still room to believe that is the case. However, so I was doing mushrooms about this time anyway. I was 16. I had very expansive, very terrifying experiences. And it was like a mental journey. I found a note not long ago that I did say it turned my life upside down. Like it was a mental journey I reflected on after about the age of 16 of like doing these mushrooms and that, and only natural psychedelics, a little bit of acid. But it wasn't nowhere near as profound as it was going to get. So I was still okay. Like, I was depressed, but my life was still okay. But it was when I was made to adapt responsibilities with growing up and maturing, that when my mental health reached its peak, like insanity, everything was very visibly crumbling around me. So I had my own house at this point, my own flat, for about like over half a year. And this is when I started to take psychedelics again, when I was about 17 to 18, to early 19. And for this time, for some reason, it was twice as expansive. I think maybe it was something to do with the fact that I had quit weed. But then I found actualized.org, and the things that I was saying basically is I was on, if you go on my rumble.com/lowercase user/uppercase oxen, OXSN, it's literally a catalogue of insanity. If you go back, that's when I was making videos the most, because I was having these awakenings, and they were awakenings, that still have changed everything, or every fucking atom in me to this day. They were still legitimate awakenings, but you know, it can be very shaky, especially when you're a noob. I was so young as well, and the way that you can interpret it, and the struggles you can go through for like realizing that your ego is an illusion, can be very painful for the ego. And I think there's something to be said about like the present moment, the way that you contact, well, assuming somewhat that there's an objective world, but not even that. It's just the way that you interpret raw qualia, or qualia basically means raw sense perception, and the way that you interpret that, if it's nihilistic or not, or can break down very fundamentally. And you know, like, it goes way beyond these personal development YouTubers like Hamza. I understand the message, and it's really good in there, and I get it. I almost wish Hamza would take more psychedelics, and he's actually got into mushrooms a bit, but just, you know, these grounded Western personal development channels, they don't get it. Like, when you're sober and that is sound. I'm about to run out of storage. But yeah, when it comes to like deeply metaphysically facing the nature of reality, like the idea of just delaying gratification to like quench your souls first becomes laughable, because like everything's just an infinite mystery.